Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Food for Footy. He's back. Murchy is here.
One piece.
How you feeling, mate?
I'm alright, thank you, mate.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the comments, but we did have a comment from Chris Dickinson, so thank you for your comment, Chris.
Seen it.
Yeah, sick note, Murchy.
Yeah, Darren Anderson.
The Reece James of the podcast.
Yeah. Considering I host it, I should be here more. Chelsea captain, never there.
Yeah.
Pretty much parallel in it, yeah, so I'll take that. Take it on the chin.
But just like Reece James, when Murchy's available, he's in the starting lineup.
You've got to pick him. Yeah, you've got to pick him.
Right, so we're having a special Champions League show this week, and we've got some amazing breakfast. We're filming on a Saturday morning, so breakfast is in front of us. Do you want to tell us about that, Murchy?
Yeah, so big shout out to the Hungry Moose for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Just popped in this morning. They're really excited about us hopefully reviewing their food and hopefully saying it's good food for footy.
I'm looking forward to it, mate.
You will be looking forward to it. It's
what
fantastic.
have you got?
I've just got a standard bacon cob.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with that. I think it's just perfect for a Saturday morning.
Saturday morning bacon cob. Yeah. I mean, I've only gone for a slight variation, bacon and sausage.
Again, more meat though, innit?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Can't beat it. I was tempted to see a bit of egg in there, but...
Yeah. Maybe if we do it again, we'll have to have a full breakfast next time and try and eat.
I'm just thinking we get enough egg on our face with some of the things that come out on here.
We've been alright. We've done alright so far.
I don't know. Did you see my humble apology to Chris Wood in the last one?
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought
he'd
go on the run he's on? But
I know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But we've been right about a few things. So
Bournemouth is a big one.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, if the Hungry Moose is sponsoring this episode, I feel like Bournemouth have sponsored this pod.
They have so far, haven't they? Yeah. We've been right every week pretty much.
We do love a bit of Bournemouth.
Bournemouth fans, get in touch. We're a big fan of your club.
We are. Yeah. Right, okay, so we said this is a Champions League special. Now, in this first part, we're going to be reviewing the midweek fixtures because... there were some big interesting results. I can't see of anywhere better to start than Man City.
Yeah, and I think this will slightly be quite exciting for United fans as well, seeing what Sporting just did to Man City.
We know a few, don't we?
We do know a few, and I've been talking over the week.
Yeah.
And they're very excited about him coming in. Obviously, we're talking about Amarin. Sporting demolished City. They could have had more than 4. I don't know what's happened to Man City. I don't know if it's because Rodri's out. Obviously, he won the Ballon d'Or, best player in the world. I said it last year. I think he is the best player in the world. It just shows you the effect that he has on that team.
The thing is, people talk about Rodri and they say, best DM. And when we think of a DM, we think of maybe like a Makalele. He revolutionised the role, didn't he? Someone that would break up the attack and... You think we'll play it simple.
Move the ball on quick, bang.
But Rodri's not like that.
No. If you have a look at his stats from last season, and this, I had a few discussions with people at work about the Rodri-Vinicius thing. Now, Vinicius stats, they're really good and whatnot. Rodri was about 10 goals and assists behind him, playing as a number 6. So there's no argument there. Rodri was always winning that. You see his stats, he's not that traditional 6. Obviously, because he's playing for Man City, and they have a lot more of the ball. But his goals and assists last season, they were pretty good for a deep lying 6. So he's not a traditional DM, no. But it just shows you how good of a player he is.
Well, I remember when he first came in, because everyone said he was the replacement to Fernandinho.
Yeah.
And what a player he was.
Yeah.
But his criticism was actually his defensive side. And when he first came in, his passing was really good. He was getting on the ball nicely. And I remember watching, football analyst shows, and they were saying he doesn't feel like a DM.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he just transformed.
Yeah.
And, I think all these people that are saying, that he didn't deserve the Ballon d'Or and Vinicius should... He is, for me, the best player in the world.
He is.
Because look at what he does. Look at City without him.
Exactly.
And it's not just breaking up that play, it's his balls forward and how he just frees up the rest of the team.
He just does stuff so effortless. Like, people don't realise how hard it is to do the simple stuff right, but he makes it look just so easy. He's a bit on the ball, not as good as Busquets, but same kind of player. Just, you don't don't really see him much, but then he'll get the ball and he'll just move it on really quickly, and he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
And it just shows why City are struggling at the minute, both in the Prem and the Champions League.
But no one, surely, when Foden scored in, what was it, the first 8 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
Nobody saw Sporting winning 4-1.
No.
Nobody
Not
saw
a
that.
chance.
Like when they equalised, you thought, oh, okay.
Yeah, nice game on.
interesting,
Yeah, game on a bit. You think Man City will turn it up a bit.
Wow, how it just went goal after goal.
Yeah.
And look, United fans, we have said an episode on your team is coming.
It is.
But get in touch. You know, is this the first of many Amorim wins over City? Is Manchester going to be red again after all these years of blue dominance?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
But, you know, what a great start. And the confidence that's going to give him, and, you know, the Man United players who will be looking at Sporting, will be looking at Amorim, what he's doing. You know, what a mark that puts down.
Yeah, 100%.
What a mark that puts down. I mean, the big question, I'll put this to you United fans, is your team better than Sporting's?
That is a big question to ask.
That's a huge question.
Their team's been the same for me for the last 4 or 5 years. You've had 3 different managers in that space.
Well, now, I'd argue with you slightly, Murchy. I don't think it's the same. I think now it's Ten Hag's Ajax from back in the day.
It actually is,
Exactly.
isn't it? Look at their back line. It's not far off, is it?
Well, that's one of the questions that I want to ask when we get some Man United fans on. Ask them, you know, the whole Ten Hag, should he have been allowed to sign all of his old players? Because Amorim's now got to come in and work with them. But it's definitely exciting times. And City fans, all 2 of you, you know...
It's a full house for them, isn't it?
Are you worried? Are you worried? Because, you know, that was a huge loss. And, you know, does the fear factor go away a little bit from you in the Champions League? Another big result we've got to talk about.
Yes.
Villa. Now, Villa, look, do you know what? Fair play to you, Villa, because the amount of people that were saying at the start of the season, you'll drop off, get battered in the Champions League.
Yeah.
You were sitting top of the tree. You know, amazing. Aston Villa. Yeah. Top of the tree.
Yeah, this new format Champions League. No one really knew what was going on. You got so many teams there. And Villa are at the top.
Introduced Tyrone Mings.
Oh, yeah. So, I was quite lucky the other day. I was at work and I was travelling somewhere else. And someone who I was travelling with is a Villa fan. So I had a nice chat with him the other day. And I was just talking about players, obviously asking about Yuri and stuff, how he's getting on from a Villa fan. And then he come on to Tyrone Mings. And he said, I don't rate Tyrone Mings. And that come from a Villa fan.
Yeah.
I've never rated Tyrone Mings from when I've watched him, whether that be for England or if we've played Villa in the past. And just look what he's done on his first game back. That is just brain dead.
Now, am I right in saying that Gerrard got a little bit of stick for leaving Mings out?
He did. Yeah. He was club captain at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing Unai Emery to Steven Gerrard. Let's not go there, all right? Not making that comparison. But I remember he got a lot of stick. Yeah. And they were saying, you know, how can you leave your club captain out? That's why. Yeah. That's why.
It just shows you.
What is he doing?
He's just not computed it, is it? He just froze up.
I know.
And surely in a Champions League game, you think, right, it's my first game back. I've had a big injury. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be really careful. If you've seen your goalkeeper kick you the ball from the edge of his 6-yard box,
I know.
Don't pick it up, man. Don't pick it up. Like it's one of the most bizarre things I've seen for a while.
But I heard on like the radio, they were saying, but you know the goal kick wasn't taken, and the confusion.
There's no confusion.
Martinez has put it down to take it. Now, okay, Mings is not too dissimilar distance that we are now, maybe a little bit further,
a few yards away.
But how do teams play? They play out from the back. They pass it. The centre back.
You see that all the time now.
Centre back split.
Either a goalkeeper takes it, take the goal kick, and he passes it to one of the centre halves, or the centre half will pass it to the goalkeeper, and then they'll play from there. Surely being a footballer, that's how goal kicks are taken now. The smallest amount of distance so you can play out. But he picked the ball up.
The best part is he picks it up and then goes and puts it back in the same spot. If he'd have moved it to if he'd have picked it up and gone to the other side and been like, oh no, it's this side.
Yeah, fair enough. Make it look,
right. But the fact he hasn't put it right where it was... Oh, no, we'll do that again.
Yeah, just try that again. I didn't like that. It was on my right foot. It's just daft, and I'm sure Villa fans are absolutely raging.
Yeah.
I would be raging seeing one of my to be fair, I see my centre-halves play awful all the time, so it's not too dissimilar. But I would be fuming to see that in the Champions League against Club Brugge as well, who, let's be honest, it's Club Brugge, Belgian side.
Do you say that? Club Brugge had some chances.
They did have some chances.
They had some big chances.
Yeah,
I think it was a deserved win, to be fair.
I think in the end, you look on the stats, I think the Tyrone Mings error just set them back.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if Watkins scores that chance he has at the beginning, it's a different game.
Yeah.
Different game. But, after that, Club Brugge were lifted. Villa didn't really create anything. And, game on.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Club Brugge away isn't for everyone. Just saying, our first Champions League game, 3-0 win. Mark Albrighton scored. Go on, lad.
We'll save Champions League memories for a little bit later.
I'll be reminiscing for a good few decades, I reckon.
Right, okay, so we've discussed a few of those big games. There were some big results as well that happened. But I know in the next segment we're going to talk about your marks, Murchy's marks. It's back for who might win it. So we'll probably dissect some more of those results and do that. New format.
Yes.
Do you know what? Looking on the socials, hit and miss.
It is hit and miss.
Some people that are loving it, some people that really aren't sure.
Yeah, I've got a few opinions about it, and again, they're mixed opinions. Obviously, when it come about that they was doing this new format, I think personally it had something to do with the Super League that didn't work a few years ago. Now, the new format I think is really good because it gives more teams more games and more exposure, which is good for those smaller teams. However, like we've seen with the Man City loss, losing a game like that doesn't really do anything for them. Because I think, the top 8 qualify automatically, and then the 16 after that go into the playoffs. So losing one game, it doesn't really do much. There's no, they might go out here, they might drop into the Europa League. Obviously, that doesn't happen anymore. But then one-off games where they do lose, there's not much follow-up from that. Whereas if you had a group of death like we had a few years ago with I think it was last year, PSG, Newcastle, Dortmund, and they were all top at one point, and because a certain team lost, their team went out. Obviously, Newcastle beat PSG beat them in the return leg, and that was seen as a group of death, and the results mattered. Whereas this new format, I think personally, results don't matter enough. I really like that you can play loads of different teams. I really like that format of the Champions League now. But for me, growing up and watching Champions League on ITV, free TV, and seeing how it has been, I really like the old format. I don't think they'll go back to it, but that's probably just my nostalgia.
I was going to say, a bit of nostalgia.
Probably my nostalgia, but I really prefer the old format. And it might change in a few years, but I don't know.
See, I wasn't sure. Because I know what you're saying. You got your group, and that was your group, and you had like a group of death. I still think they exist a little bit. I think when the fixtures came out, I'm trying not to mention a certain team too much, because I realised in the last one I mentioned them a lot. There was a team, an English team, that plays in the Northwest, that was said to have quite a group of death. Real Madrid, AC Milan, Leverkusen, Leipzig, all these. And I looked at Villas, I looked at Celtics, and thought, oh crikey, you guys have got easier.
Got away with it a bit. Yeah.
Easier fixtures. So I think that still happens. For me, there's a mystery, because the team that's top of the pile, whose name will not be mentioned yet, they've won all their games. They're not qualified. Are they in the knockouts?
Yeah.
Are they in the playoff section? We don't know how many points. Like, I remember seeing Sky did an analysis where it said how many points you need. I think it was about 15, 16, 17, and that secures the top 8.
Okay, so that's automatic qualification.
Yeah,
like the last 16 or whatnot.
But we don't know.
Yeah,
we really don't know, and it's interesting because looking at the table, Celtic sat in 15th.
And this is the thing. What's good, I think, for this new format. It gives teams where Celtic, they are a big club. Okay, they are a big club. Although they play in the Scottish League, so the quality is not the best. But it gives teams like that, who usually probably finish 4th in their group, when they've been had a horrid draw, it gives teams like that a chance to qualify.
Yeah.
And give them that qualifying game. Because it's so easy to qualify from this new standing. It's literally, you have to finish, top 32, is it? Out of 48. So it's literally a few wins.
Top 24.
Top 24, okay.
Top 24. But, I mean, the thing is, it currently, and we're halfway through.
Yeah.
Currently, you've got PSG, who, if it finished tomorrow, would be eliminated.
Yeah.
They'd be out. Stuttgart, Leipzig, they're going out. You've got some of the lesser sides. Look, I don't expect many, young boys or Sturm Graz fans are watching this pod. My apologies if you are.
If you are, hello. First of all, have you followed?
Yeah, give us a like, subscribe.
Yeah, thank you.
But the lesser teams, they're down there. But at the same time, when you look at the top, so if it finished tomorrow, the team that will not be mentioned by myself are at the top. Yeah. Sporting, Monaco, Brest. We all love seeing Brest at the top. Inter, Barca, Dortmund and Villa.
Yeah.
There are still some surprises. There are still some surprises. So, I think it's interesting, but I get what you're saying about a loss. Usually last year, and the previous years, you get 4 wins, you're through.
Yeah.
And I think it was Carragher that made this analysis, said that what would happen then is you'd get the last few games, they'd rotate the squads a little bit, win your first 4 games.
That's it.
Because it was win your home games and get an away draw.
Yeah.
And if you did that, you were guaranteed to be in the knockout round.
Yeah.
And then you could rest some players. And there was a little bit of last day drama. You mentioned Newcastle PSG, that was last day drama. But most of it was tied up. Yeah. This year, I think it's the other way around. I think because it's a league format and 3 points can make a massive difference.
We won't know till that last game's
played.
And
I think the last few games are going to be really interesting. So we can see why they've done it. So interesting. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think of the new Champions League format? I tell you one thing I do love. I love the fact that teams don't drop into the other competition.
You beat me to it. I love that. And it gives teams in the Europa League and the Conference League as well, because they don't drop from the Europa League. Gives them a chance. Obviously, you've got Chelsea in the Conference League, who probably should go and win it. If you have a look at the teams who are in there, and then Chelsea just stick out like a sore thumb, don't they? So they probably should win that, but that's probably an odd year for them to be in that. So it gives them smaller teams a chance, which is I really like. So hopefully I can see Leicester back in Europe at some point. You never know.
Well, that's it. But it means that when you go into it, you're not getting to the stage and thinking who's going to drop out. Who are we going to face next? So I like that. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Right, that's the end of part 1. First of all, how are we finding Hungry Moose so far?
Can't go wrong.
No, do you know what? Fantastic.
Can't go wrong with it.
I'm one of these people, I'm not a big fan of fatty bacon. So, when you get a bacon cob and you just see this massive slither of white.
It's a waste of time, isn't it? Waste of space.
I know some people love it, and some people pick up that big slither of white and it will just go straight down.
Not for me.
No, not for me. I like crispy. This isn't crispy, but there's not a lot of fat. Nice big chunk of bacon. Yeah, really good. Enjoying that so far.
Yes, me too.
Right, that's the end of part 1. Join us for part 2, where we're going to be getting Murchy's marks back and talking about who might win this year's Champions League.